Hey guys, there is a spider in my plant room and I can't find it because I'm terrified of spiders. I'm like getting goosebumps right now. Hate is a strong word. I dislike spiders. My name is Melissa and welcome to my channel, and I'm really happy you're here. For today's video, I want to show you guys some plants in my collection that I have that aren't really that common, that I absolutely love, and I cannot wait to see them grow and get bigger. I don't know, I just don't see them posted very much, so I'm excited to show you guys these. I have shown a couple of these, but there's some that I have here that I haven't really shown on my Instagram at all, which again is one of those reasons why I want to show you them, because they're beautiful plants and they don't get enough love. So I'm excited to show you guys. Up first is going to be a Pothos epipremnum plant, and this is my Jessenia. So this one is very uncommon, but let me show you the variegation. So I'm going to show you this leaf up close. Do you see that gorgeous variegation? And that one as well. So this plant has beautiful variegation, and I love this Pothos. Whenever I post about it, I do get a lot of attention on it because it's not one that's very common at all. And I did take cuttings of this one to do on a moss pole. I just started it not too long ago, so it hasn't really grown yet. But can you imagine? I could not imagine big leaves of that variegation pattern. It's going to be beautiful. I honestly cannot wait for it to grow. This was actually a big box find at a Lowe's a long time ago. I sold a lot of cuttings before I moved, and so it's actually starting to trail and grow. I did take cuttings, to do on the pole, but I'm really excited for this one to get really long and trail. It's going to be beautiful. And if you can get your hands on a Jessenia, I highly recommend. Just the pattern, the leaves, everything is just beautiful. It's an easy care Pothos. They, are very hardy, very easy care. I will say this plant can revert. I did have several strands that have gone to green, and I kind of removed those. So keep that in mind, like variegated plants can revert if it's not stable variegation. Plant number 2 is one that I'm really excited about because it was not a cheap plant purchased by any means, and I was upset for the longest time because this plant did not give me any variegation. And now that I've been here, it's under some different lighting situation, and I think it loves it a lot more because it is bringing out some really variegated leaves. And I'm really excited to watch this plant grow. I'm going to go ahead and show it because it really hasn't had too much time to grow yet. And I can see more variegated leaves that haven't unfurled, and I'm really, really excited to see this plant and what it looks like in a few months. So this is a Syngonium. This is called a strawberry ice Syngonium. Look at those leaves. Do you see how beautiful they are? They have like pink and white and like a darker red. And there's one here that's unfurling that's going to be like a half moon. Do you see that pink? And there's another one. Where did it go? Yeah, there's another one behind this one that looks like there's going to be some pink. So if you don't know who Harley G is, I love her and her videos. I watched her channel so much, but her strawberry ice Syngonium is one of the most beautiful plants I have ever seen. So if you have not seen hers, go check her out and her Syngonium Strawberry Ice because it is absolutely gorgeous. That's the plant that inspired me to buy mine, was hers. So when I purchased mine, it had like one beautiful variegated leaf, and it of course died, and it took forever. All the leaves were green. They were like green, not that pretty, and I'm like, I wasted so much money. I just wanted a beautiful strawberry ice. So I'm really happy and excited to see the variegation come back on this plant, and I can't wait to see what this looks like in a few months. I hope I get beautiful variegation, so fingers crossed. Next up is a newer Scindapsus in my collection. I purchased it a few months before I moved, and I had a cutting that was propagating in my prop box. It took forever, wouldn't grow, but it finally grew roots, and I potted it in here as well. And this plant I didn't really talk about because it took a hit after I moved, and I honestly thought I was going to die, really. And I was so scared because it just went into stress, shock, it yellowed. It must have yellowed like 10 leaves, but it is growing back, and I have lots of new growth, and I'm excited to show it. This is my Scindapsus Satin. Do you see how beautiful those leaves are? They are absolutely stunning. and I have like lots of new growth. You can see like there on the top there's a new leaf. This one here is a new leaf. It is a beautiful Scindapsus. I just can't get over the leaf pattern on this one. That's why I love this one. There actually is a variegated version. If I ever get my hands on one of those, eventually I would die because they are beautiful. I have a thing for yellow. I just love variegated plants, but yellow and white, any kind of variegation, I just love. It has like this cool texture to it, and I don't know, I just think it's so beautiful, and I'm really happy that it's like finally like not dying on me. And they are slow growers. This one doesn't seem to be too slow. It's growing at a steady pace because I do have like still lots of new growth in here, and it did yellow quite a bit. So I'm finding it now that it's happy and have settled down, it's finally starting to grow back, and it makes me so happy. I don't really see this Scindapsus a lot, posted a lot at all, but it is beautiful. And yeah, if you love Scindapsus, you are gonna love this one. So I love it. Next up is one that I absolutely love. I honestly, when I first got it, I paid a lot for one unrooted cutting, and an entire plant grew from one cutting, and I'm currently propagating it, and I have sold a couple cuttings. I was so mad at myself at first for buying this plant because I'm like, it looks exactly like a Marble Queen epipremnum plant, and I'm like, I wasted my money. But after having it and after seeing it grow, and just the overall leaf shape, it is different than a pothos. And if you loved heart-shaped leaves, you are gonna love this plant. I'm so glad I purchased it because it is growing so well for me, and I cannot wait to get a full plant of this. I got really lucky and got great variegation with mine, so let me show you. So this is my variegated Heteroraceum or heartleaf philodendron. And let me show you the cuttings I took because the variegation is most prominent on these ones. Look at how beautiful. So it does look and resemble a Marble Queen very, very much, but I just love phylos, and the heart-shaped leaf is what sold me. Here's another beautiful like half moon leaf, and it's given me lots of new growth. So this plant, this is the original leaf. I grew this plant from this one leaf right here, and it's one long vine that has grown from that. And so I took cuttings. It actually grew multiple nodes on its own, like multiple stems, just like activated and grew. And so that's where I took these cuttings from, the other one that grew. And I really want a big full bushy plant of this one day. And I'm thinking about doing these cuttings on a moss pole, although I'm not sure. I honestly think it would be beautiful on a pole. I'm getting ahead of myself on the moss pole, so maybe not. I don't want to overdo it on the poles. But anyway, I just want to fill this one out because it is a very beautiful plant. And yeah, I honestly think it's worth the money if you can get like a cutting. It did take a little bit of time to root and grow, but I honestly have so many leaves from that one purchase, and I'm very, very happy with this plant, extremely happy with it. So I would say go for it if you've been eyeing one and you weren't sure about it, because I love mine and it's so easy. Next plant is an Alocasia, and I did just show this one, so I'm not going to talk about this one too much, but if you have not seen that video, I'll show you real quick. But this is my Alocasia Cuprea, and this leaf is absolutely gorgeous. Look at that. It's an Alocasia I don't see that often, and it's beautiful. And I know Alocasias get a bad rap for being a difficult plant, and this one was a little bit sensitive, I'm not gonna lie. I don't want to talk about this one too much, but it's honestly happy in my ambient room conditions, and it was a huge plant, you guys, 8-9 leaves. It died, it got stressed after I moved, and it was down to one leaf, and it's finally growing back. It does have a new growth, and it's one of the coolest textures I've ever seen on a plant before. So if you love Alocasias and you don't have this one, I would recommend eventually, and not like a beginner friendly one I would say, but eventually if you don't have this one, I say go for it because you will not be disappointed in these leaves at all. Next up is going to be my Philodendron Billietiae. And again, I don't see this one talked about, or I see it very often at all. Let me back up so you can see it. It's got many, many leaves. And yeah, if I can ever get my hands on a variegated version of this, they are so expensive, like ridiculous, but I would love to have one day. This is finally a new leaf that is unfurling. This is the first new leaf that I've gotten after I moved. But this plant is so unique, like the leaf shape and everything. It looks like, I don't know, I don't know how to describe it. It has really, really long petioles. You can see how long they are. And it's just such a cool phyllo. Definitely one that's going to get big. It's been so easy care, but if you don't have the space for it, I would say probably hold off because this thing is huge. Like the petioles get really long, the leaves get huge, and they keep getting bigger as they grow. But I don't know, it's such a cool phyllo. I love it. I think it's so unique. And it's like a statement philodendron. Like if you I have this on a stand by itself, and it's like, it makes such a statement because it's such like a big, impressive plant, I feel like. And once it grows more especially. But I don't know, I think it's a really cool phyllo. I don't really see it posted or talked about that much at all. And it's really easy care. It has gotten spider mites once for me. Spider mites for some reason have been attacking my phyllos. I don't know what it is. I have a spider mite problem, but especially my phyllos, they just for some reason are just like gravitating towards them. So it did get treated and they're gone. But yeah, I don't think it's common for this one to get too many pests, and yeah, it's been really easy care. I still have it in its grower's pot. I have not repotted it yet. I think I will at some point because yeah, it's getting pretty root bound in there. But yeah, it's a beautiful phyllo and it's really easy care. And if you've been wanting one, I say go for it if you want like a plant that makes a big statement, and it's really easy. And the last plant I'm going to show you today is another Syngonium because again, I just feel like Syngoniums, I don't know, I just don't feel like they get talked about enough and they don't get enough love, and they're a beautiful plant species. But this one is definitely more of a rare one if you can get your hands on it. It's one that's not very common, but it's beautiful if you love variegated plants. This is my Syngonium Aurea, and let me show you this leaf right here. Do you see that yellow variegation? And this one has some leaves that are more like white variegation. It is so beautiful. I currently have 5 leaves on this plant, and I did recently propagate it. I cut right here, and I'm rooting that in water because I want to fill the Syngonium pots out and plant back in so that I just don't have one vine growing. I want like multiple in here. I did that with another Syngonium of mine and it is growing like crazy and taking off. But this one is one of my favorites. I just think the variegation is stunning on this plant. And it's really beautiful. I personally think Syngoniums are easy care plants. I don't think they're picky at all with anything really. And they're growing really well. So I'm really excited to see this one get more leaves, and I hope I can get some beautiful variegation from this plant. So definitely one that's not very common, but I don't know, if you love Syngoniums and love variegated plants, you are going to love this one. If you want a part 2, let me know and I can do another one of these videos because I have more plants in my collection that I feel aren't very common or don't get talked about enough, and I would love to show them off. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later.